Hi students, today we're going to work on lesson 8-5, ways to make numbers. We're going to go over to a PowerPoint that I made for you. Let's go ahead and present it. Okay, so today we will learn about tens and ones to make numbers in different ways. Now, before we get started, I want you to think about how you can represent tens and ones at home. You see in the illustration below that they are making 10 trains using connecting cubes, and then they're using the single connecting cubes to represent ones. In class, we used tens cubes and ones cubes. I know that most of us do not have that at home, so let's get a little creative. I would suggest drawing pictures. I like to use just straight lines to represent the tens. One straight line represents a group of 10. So here you see two groups of 10. I like to use squares or small circles to represent groups of ones, or sorry, not groups of ones, but just ones. And we can see that we've got 1, 2, 3 here. So this number that's being represented by the tens and ones that I've drawn is the number 23 that you see over here. Now, because we see 2 tens and we see 3 ones, we can actually utilize a strategy that we learned yesterday, which was expanded form. And expanded form was where you took a number like 23 and you stretched it out. You stretched out the tens and you stretched out the ones, and you made an addition problem. And so for 23, it would look like this. 20 plus 3 equals 23. You've got your 2 tens, which is the 20. You've got your 3 ones, which is the 3. And then 23 is what that equals. Now, the rest of these are not going to be expanded form when we fill in the rest of the addition sentences that you see below, but this top one is considered expanded form. The rest of them are just ways to make the number 23 using tens and ones. Let's go to the next slide. You might have seen that a red X appeared on top of one of the tens. That's because we're going to do something called break apart a 10. I want you to say that with me. Here we go. Ready? 1, ready, 2, ready, 3. Break apart a 10. So what that means is that we're literally going to take that 10 and we're going to pretend that we are breaking it apart into 10 pieces, and we're going to place them over here in the ones place. So just like that, pretend now that that 10 is no longer there. It is over here. That's why we put an X on it. So now we see that there's only 1 10 left. So if there's only 1 10 left, that means it's just 10. Now we have 10 over here with the ones, and we've got 3. So let's count on 10, 11, 12, 13. So that would be 10 plus 13, and you guessed it, equals 23. Now again, a reminder, this problem 10 plus 13 is 23. This is not considered expanded form. It is considered another way to make the number 23 using tens and ones. Now, there might be some friends out there thinking, well, Mrs. Murch, I could make 23 by adding 11 and 12. You could. But if you had the number 11 here where the 10 is at, you would be saying that there would be a different number here than what is actually over here. And it wouldn't make sense. You would be saying 11 plus 13, and yes, that's 23, but there are not 11 tens over here. There is 1 10 over here, and we are representing that with the numeral 10. So I want you to keep your head in tens and ones. Let's go to the next slide. You might have seen a larger X is now crossing off both of our tens. So now we are going to break apart the other 10, and let's say break apart the 10 together. Ready? 1, ready, 2, ready, 3. Break apart the 10, and we are now going to put that 10 over here on the one side. So let's go ahead and do that. There it is. Now we have no more 10s, and now we've got 2 sets of 10s that are represented with just ones, and we still have our 3. So because we have no tens, that means that we're going to have a 0 for 0 tens. And now let's count by tens and count on by ones to see what we have over here. 10, 20, 21, 22, 23. So we have 23 ones. So our problem is going to be 0 plus 23 equals 23. Now, students, I want you to try another number. I want you to try 42. Now, I've used drawings to represent my tens and my ones. I've got you set up. Oops, I accidentally have an extra 1 right here. Just pretend that's not there. You've got my 4 tens, and then pretend there's only 2 ones. Okay, and I want you to try the strategies that you just saw to represent the number 42. Again, apologies about this other extra 1 there. If I had an eraser, I would erase it. Let's go back to the math page. I'd like to explain the rest of it to you. Go ahead and click next. Oh, and then for the number 42, you can write that over here on this side. And if you want to write down the number that I did 23, you can write that up here, or you can write it down here. It's up to you. Okay, we're going to go to our 2-page view so we can see the whole thing together. Let's give it a moment to load. Awesome. Up here at the top, this might look familiar because it was on the PowerPoint. These are just some steps to help you remember what you can do to show the different ways to make a number using tens and ones. I'm going to scroll down here and I'm going to read you the directions for the problems. For numbers 1 and 2, it says use cubes to count the tens and the ones. Show 2 other ways to make the number. So we have a place value chart that's got the tens and the ones. They are representing using the connecting cubes. We see 2 10 trains here and we see 3 ones. This was the problem that I did the example with for you. So you should be familiar with this. They have this one done for you so you understand how they formatted or how they did the problem. As you can see, they reversed the numbers and they put 23, the whole on this side equals 20 plus 3. That's fine. I know that might trip some of us up, but they're just flip-flopping the addition problem. Number 2, the number that's being represented is 34. You have 3 tens and you have 4 ones. And so you are going to practice breaking apart the 10 and then figuring out other ways to make numbers. Before you do that, make sure you write the expanded form here of what 34 is. How many tens is it? How many ones is it? And then over here, you're going to practice the breaking apart. Okay, the do you understand part. How are 2 tens and 6 ones the same as 1 10 and 16 ones? You can write this down if you would like, or you can just tell a stuffy, a human, or a pet what your response is. Let's go to the independent practice. It says use cubes to count the tens and the ones and show the other ways to make the number. Now, I didn't say this for the other set of directions. They said the same thing, use the cubes. There are cubes drawn on the pictures for you. If you want to do your own thing and you want to draw your own pictures, then you can just make your own like I showed you in the PowerPoint. So here we have the number 68. Again, you're doing the same thing. I'm going to recommend here that you write the expanded form first, and then you practice breaking apart the tens for these 2. Okay. Number 4, the number that's being represented is 51. Again, write the expanded form here, and then over here, break apart the tens and practice doing that and writing what those addition problems would be. For number 5, it says write the missing number. It says 46 equals 20 plus blank. I would recommend drawing a picture of this like we did in the PowerPoint. Represent 46 with tens and ones and see if you can figure out how many tens you have to break apart in order to get your missing number. And it's going to be the same thing with 29. I would recommend drawing a picture to represent the tens and the ones in 29 to see what your missing number is here. Let's go to the back side. Now, on the back side, you guys already know at this point, my favorite part is the journal, number 10. I'm going to go back to the 1-page view, and we're going to scroll down. I will read the other ones to you as well in case you would like to do them. Number 10 says, make 32 as tens and ones. Write as many ways as you can. Use the cubes to help. If you have cubes or you have something you'd like to use, go for it. If you want to draw the pictures, you may do that as well. So you're using the number 32. You're representing one of these problems as expanded form, and then the rest of them you're breaking apart tens to try to figure out what are some other ways to make 32. Let's go back up here. Let's read the directions, and I'll read number 7, 8, and 9 to you. Number 7 says use the work mat to solve, write the number, then write the addition sentence. The work mat is just referring to this illustration right here. Okay, that's all that is. It's the same thing down here. We're calling these the work mats. So there's nothing additional that you need for these problems. Number 7 says Carl made this model. What number is he showing? So you need to count the tens, you need to count the ones, and you need to figure out what number is Carl showing, and then you need to write the number sentence down here the way that he is representing it. Number 8 says on Kristen's work mat there are 3 tens and 12 ones. What number is she showing? Again, this chart here is the work mat, so you don't need any additional tools for this. Your job is to draw the 3 tens and the 12 ones and then figure out what is the number that is being represented, and then you need to write the addition sentence that goes along with that picture. All right, students, we're going to go to our reteaching page. I'm going to go through this really quickly. It says 8-5 is top reteaching, ways to make numbers. There's an example up here for you, and it's showing 2 tens and 7 ones equals the number 27, and it says 2 tens, 7 ones, 27 equals 20 plus 7. This is expanded form. This is what we did yesterday. Over here is after they've broken apart a 10. So now we only see 1 10, and now we see, I know that these 2 rows right here are 10, so I'm going to count by tens and then count on 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, Mrs. Murch counted that wrong. Let's go back. That's okay. Sometimes we count things incorrectly. So there's 1 10 here. Let's try that again. You know what? Maybe let's just count by ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There we go. Sometimes it's good to go back and recount. So we've got 1 10 and 17 ones, and it says that down here. 27 equals 10, again 1 10, and 7 plus 17, again 17 ones. Number 1 is already done for you. It says to use the cubes, which are here, the pictures, to show a different way to make the number. I'm not going to read through that one. I'm going to let you do that. And number 2, you have to do on your own. It tells you it's representing the number 43. So what your job is to write that in expanded form here. And then over here, I want you to notice they've already taken away one of the tens. They removed the 3 ones. You need to break apart the 10 that they took away. You need to put those 3 ones back here in addition to that other 10, okay? All right, students, I'll catch you in another video. Thanks for listening.